maybe not right on time, but pretty close to right on time. And because I get dirty looks from the bus drivers if I don't get everybody out in time. So I try to get everybody out at the same time. Amen. So we're talking about freedom tonight, and freedom is just something that's just, we take it for granted in our country that we're free to do anything that we want to do. I look around and there's so many different churches and so many different denominations and so many different things that we can, if we don't like this church, we'll go down to the street and go to another. And we don't like who ushers in this one, and then maybe we'll like who ushers in the other one. And usually it's usually not a philosophy difference, it's usually a personality difference that causes people to leave churches. Which I want you to understand that you can't just leave a church because you don't like everybody. Amen? Because you're not going to like everybody at the next.
That's right.
Amen? And they're not going to like you either. So, it always messes with me a little bit when people say stuff like, well, I don't know, I didn't like them. Well, they didn't like you either. Well, why not? Why is this okay one way, but it's not okay the other way? And so as good as I am, they didn't like me. No, as good as you are, they didn't like you. And so understand that you can't just do what you want to do, but freedom comes from somebody that has actually had to go through a battle and go through something. And we sit here today, and we're free today because somebody fought a war that enabled us to be free today. And somebody fought a spiritual war that we're able to be free today. And so when we're talking about the emotions of Jesus, the death, the burial, the resurrection of Jesus, and when we're talking about those things, I believe freedom came when he came out of the grave. Freedom came because he fought a battle for us that we didn't have to fight. Can somebody help me just a minute? So listen, I understand that in World War I that they fought a battle that we didn't have to fight. Any World War I veterans here? I didn't think so. You didn't be out 20 years old. And so, how about World War II veterans? No, those are dying out so fast. There's not very many of those left. And so World War II veterans fought a war that we didn't have to fight. Amen. And not only did they fight a war, but the country fought a war because we did without. We did without things so we could be on the battlefront. The ladies went to work in the factories and they were called what? Rosie the Riveter. And so they went and they made jeeps and tanks and airplanes and those things. And so the country fought a war. It wasn't just the military fighting a war. The country fought a war. And then you get through that, and then the Korean conflict happens, and Vietnam happens, and then Desert Storm happens, and all that stuff. And so we have all these conflicts that we didn't have to fight, but it gives us the right to come to a church and sing songs and to be free and to love one another and hang on to each other. And so freedom comes at a cost.
Amen.
And so I can't come in here today and say I'm free and not have to ever put any work into it. Can somebody help me a minute? Freedom came when Jesus said it is finished. And Matthew, Jessica, you ready? Are you ready? Matthew 27, 51 through 53. Jesus, you're our king. No, I'm just kidding. I just didn't know how many people would really look at it. That's from the last one. 27, 51 through 53. How many are excited to be alive and it's summertime and things are happening and God is blessing and your life is good? Amen. It's getting to be summertime again. It's warming up. And hey, this morning it was kind of cool. Well, yesterday morning it was kind of cool. Yesterday morning it was like in the 50s yesterday morning. Like 53 degrees. And I was like, is this May? I'm loving it. Amen. And so then behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain from the top to the bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks rent. And the graves were opened, and many of the bodies of the saints which slept arose, and came out of the graves after his resurrection, and went into the holy city, and appeared to many. Go back to verse 51, please. 51. And behold, or look, or witness, the veil of the temple was rent from the top to the bottom, from the top to the bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks were broken in half. Verse 52. And the graves were opened, and many bodies of the saints which slept arose. All right, are you with me? And they came out of the graves after his resurrection, and went to the holy city, or Jerusalem, and appeared to many. So understand for just a second that Jesus paid a price that I couldn't pay. He fought a fight I couldn't fight. He prayed in the garden of prayer I couldn't pray. He sweated great drops of blood I couldn't sweat. He was forsaken by men that I will never know. He was forsaken by disciples that said they would never leave him or forsake him. And they could not watch with him for 3 hours. But for 3 hours he prayed and he sought God by himself. He did all those things for me. For my freedom. Are you with me? Hang on with me. We're going to go somewhere. So listen. So freedom comes at a cost. Freedom comes at a price. Freedom's not just free. We understand that like today, right now, you're a United States citizen. You have the right to go anywhere you want to go in this country. You can get in your car as long as you got money and enough money to get where you're going. You can go. It doesn't matter where you want to go. You can go. You can drive from the southern tip of California to the northern tip of Maine, and nobody will stop you and check your ID unless you're speeding, and check your ID to see where you came from, because we live in the United States and it's free to travel here, right? Okay, and so we can do whatever we want to do. We can go wherever we go, but we take that for such granted because that's just the way it's always been in my lifetime. In my lifetime, it's just always been easy. I can just go and do what I want to do. I can go buy what I want to buy. I can get what I want to get. We are so blessed, and we have all these things that we are able to do because we're a free nation. And sometimes people use that freedom against us, and they use it because of our free society. They come and they attack us because we're not checking everybody that comes into the nation. Are you with me? So freedom came when Jesus said it is finished. Freedom came because what happened in verse 51, go to 51 for me please. What happened in verse 51 is this, is that the veil of the temple was torn in two. Now that's really good church speak, and if I was an evangelist and I was preaching that, I'd say, and the veil I was rent, okay? But I'm not, okay? So I'm just going to tell you as the pastor, what that means is there was a veil in the holies of holies that only the high priest could go to. And when Jesus died and he said it is finished, and he died, that veil was torn in two. That now we have access to the holies of holies because somebody paid for freedom that nobody else could pay for. Can you help me a minute? So freedom came when Jesus said it's finished. When Jesus said it was finished, it didn't mean his life was finished. It meant the slavery was finished. It meant the holding down of people was finished. It meant that your lack of access to God was finished. It meant that all the access that you needed was now open to you, to God. So let me just share something with you. When we say, I can go to God and pray, we don't ever I shouldn't say ever. We don't seem to access that as much as we should access that, because if you understand that somebody paid a price that I could walk in the presence of God and I could say, God, I need to speak to you for just a minute. Because before Jesus said it is finished, you had to go to a high priest, and a high priest had to take your requirements and all those things and all the sacrifices, and they had to take those things before God for you, and you didn't have access to God for yourself. But now I have access to God. A new life started when the old one was poured out. Somebody help me. Somebody say pour it out. Touch your neighbor, say pour it out. Touch your neighbor, say pour it out. Touch your neighbor, pour it out. Touch your neighbor. They don't have scabies or nothing. Touch them. Okay. Well, we're good. Father, heal the scabies. Okay, listen. So a new life was started only when the old one was poured out. When Jesus poured out everything that he had, they stuck the syrup and the blood and water ran out. And he poured out all of his blood on the cross. And it was pooling at the foot of that cross. He poured out his life. He poured out everything he had. And everything was poured out. But new life started when the old life was poured out. And so when I pour out my old life, a new life starts. Somebody help me just a minute. When I decide that I want to be free. When I decided that freedom has to come to my house. Amen. Are you with me? Y'all looking at me like I'm crazy. All right. But new life doesn't start until old life is poured out. And old life had to be poured out. Okay. Remember Elijah? Not Elijah, Elijah. You know, poor old Elijah never got kids. Poor old Elijah don't know what it is. I know y'all don't know, but some of these people know. Okay? And y'all too young to know. Y'all know no Charlie Pride. Okay, so listen. He was Hootie before Hootie was country. Okay, here, listen. Hootie the Blowfish. Oh, never mind. Okay, never mind. I don't talk to y'all anymore. Okay, listen. Elijah had to pour out buckets of water. I like Elijah.
Yeah, boy.
I like Elijah even when Elijah was running. I like Elijah because God never got mad at Elijah. You can't find it in the scripture. God never got mad at Elijah. And then when he was facing the prophets of Baal, they poured that water out. How long had it been since it rained? 3 years. Read the Bible. 3 years. Why did it not rain? Because Elijah said it wasn't going to. He didn't ask nobody. He said it wasn't. He said, it ain't raining. Y'all better get right because it's going to get dry around here. What he said. And he said, he said, God, it ain't going to rain. And for 3 years it didn't rain. So where did the water come from? You ever wonder? These people kept walking through the desert. This is just Jeff Nance 3:16. These people are walking through the desert. They had to have something with them to keep them sustained in the desert. So in my belief, I would believe that the people brought water. And they poured out their water because they were invested in Baal. Can you help me a minute? And when they poured out their water, they filled up the pots. And they filled up the pots with their water. And then they dumped it out. Can you imagine? Now let's think about this for a second. I want y'all to think. Think. It has not rained in 3 years. The most prized commodity in the desert is already water. But when it hadn't rained for 3 years, you can bet it is water. They are looking to have some water. And so whenever they brought their water, they poured it out, and they poured it out on the altar. They poured it out on the altar. They poured it out on the altar. And Elijah said, that's probably good enough. Because it's going to cost you something to be set free. Come on, help me. Ooh, help me. That's pretty good. I'm going for a white guy. That's good right there. It's going to cost you something to be free. You're going to have to be vested in something to be free. You're going to have to give up something to be free. You're going to have to give something that you prize more than anything on the earth to be free. Well, why do I got to give something? Why do I got to give? How many like yourself? And if you don't like yourself, well, form a prayer line. Because you need to like yourself. God loves you. So you need to like you. I know it's Wednesday. Y'all help me. Help me. God says, if you'll give me your life, I'll give you abundant life. That's a pretty good trade. If you'll give me your life, not just your money, not just your time, not just your appearance at church, but if you'll give me your life, I will give you abundant, eternal, more than you can measure, more than you can hang on to life. I'll give you more than you ever thought possible life. I'll give you more than you can ever think or possibly even dream about life. I understand, but you've got to be vested in God. I don't understand though. Y'all got to help me because I'm a weird guy, and I don't understand being halfway in and halfway out. Because if you're only halfway in, you're either up or down. I don't. That's another song y'all don't know nothing about. Okay, and so because when you're up, and when you're down, you're down. Because when you're only halfway up, you're either up or down. All right, whatever. Okay, and so y'all need to go to church. Okay, listen. And so whenever you are invested in something, when it costs you something, That is when freedom becomes dear to you, because not only did it cost you something, but it cost somebody you know something. Come on, help me just a minute. It wasn't just one person that brought all that water. It was several people brought all that water that they poured out on that altar. Somebody help me just a minute. And so then when the fire of God fell down, and it not only burned up the sacrifice, but it licked up the water in the trench. Come on, y'all need to read the Bible. Come on. You licked up the water in the trench. But understand this. Now get this. Don't get excited about the fire. Because you can't get excited about the fire until you get excited about the altar. Amen. Ooh, Jesus. Because Elijah was very particular about how he put the stuff on the altar. He didn't just throw a bunch of stuff on the altar and say, okay, God, burn it. He put it like it was supposed to be, because the altar is what changes your life, and the fire just enforces what God has already done in your life. So now understand this. God already knew. Listen, Elijah already knew that God was doing. He said he was. Elijah already knew that God was going to take care of Baal. Elijah already knew that God was in this thing. But it took the fire of God to say amen to what Elijah had done on the altar. Somebody help me a minute. Help me. You can be in the presence of the fire and still not be changed. Because all those prophets of Baal were in the presence of fire. I don't know how I got off on this. But all the prophets of Baal were in the presence of the fire, but he still killed every one of them. Somebody help me just a minute. They were in the presence of the fire, but they were at the wrong altar. Somebody help me a minute. They were at the wrong place. It was Elijah's altar and Elijah's fire that caused things to change. And then what happened? I don't know how I got off on Elijah. I wasn't even talking about Elijah. We're talking about freedom. Okay. Here. So now, Jezebel comes after Elijah. I'm going to kill you. And he takes off running. And you can put your own twist to this story when you preach it. But I don't really think that Elijah was scared of Jezebel as much as he was scared that nothing was going to change. What do you mean? After the fire, after the water, after he killed 3,000, I believe, 3,000 prophets of Baal, and then one woman says she's going to kill him and he runs, I really think that Elijah was checking out and said, listen, why am I going through all this stuff if nothing's going to change? The prophets are dead. God, you showed yourself to be mighty, and now, still yet, they're trying to kill me. So I want to share something with you. Why is it that we want to be free from the things of our lives and our past, but we don't really want to change anything in our life? We want freedom. How many want freedom? Come on, help me, man. Come on, help me. You want freedom? Amen. I want to be free, amen. Yeah. I don't want to live in bondage. That's right. I don't want to live downhearted. I want to live free tonight. I want to be a free person. I don't want to have to answer to somebody else. I want to answer to me, and I want to answer to God. Amen. Listen. No more were they bound when Jesus came out of the tomb. No more were they bound by the religious restrictions of the temple. No longer were they bound by the religious leaders of the world. Because when Jesus died and the veil of the temple was ripped in two, from the top to the bottom, the earth did quake and the rocks rent. When all that happened, listen, when all that happened, freedom came, not just to these people, but to you and to me. Freedom came to us all. Listen, no more held down by religious leaders. The time had come when we could walk in freedom. Now, touch your neighbor and say, I'm free. Touch your neighbor and say, I'm free. Touch him. I'm free. Why? Because Jesus paid a price that I couldn't pay. He gave me something I couldn't give myself. He blessed me in a way that I can't bless myself. Now listen, I can go out, I know how to go out and work, and I know how to go make money. I can do that. I can do it. God has blessed me with abilities, and I can do it. I know how to go make money. I can do that. But I can't bless me like God can bless me.
Amen.
Amen? I still don't know how it works. I know it's because it's God's law. I get it. Don't give me an ugly letter. But listen, I know how it works because God said, if you will tithe, then you'll give offering, then God will bless you. I get it. I understand it. I'm a witness to that. I get that. But I still don't know how He does it. I still don't understand it. I still don't understand how He takes 10% of what I make and blesses the 90%. And the 90% produces more than the 100%. I don't know how He does that, and it's not for me to know. I don't really even care. I just know that He does it. And I try to figure things out. There's no way that I can do that. God, there's no way. How do you do that, God? And I try to figure that out. And I'm going to pay tithe, and I'm going to give offerings. And just so you know, we give a lot more than 10%. But I'm just using that as an example because some people have a hard time with that. And that's fine. But understand, I don't know if that's fine or not, but understand that I know most folks who say, I can't afford to tithe, are broke. And most folks who say, I can't afford not to tithe, are blessed.
Amen.
I just know that to be a fact. I've been in church a long time. And I know it to be a fact. You can tell how people's lives are. And you can pretty much see, I don't know how I got on time. And so you can pretty much see a path. There's either a path of destruction, never enough, shortcoming, not enough, barely making it, scraping by. Or you see, sometimes not enough, but God's always made a way. Come on now. I don't have enough, but God made a way. I don't know. We didn't have anything, but God made a way. And so I don't know how I got up on that, but listen, I'm trying to talk about being free. Y'all leave me alone. I'm talking about being free. Listen. Free from limitations. I'm not limited. Except by me. Now look at me. Right here, look at me. I am not limited by anything other than me. I limit me. Because I say what God and what God can't do in my life. Oh, now you don't have that power, Brother Jeff. Yes, I do. Death and life are where?
Power of the tongue.
Mouth. Tongue. Because how you perceive yourself is how you're going to be. Oh, I forgot it. I was going to have a dirty knee. Forgot. And so, how you perceive God to be in your life, that's how God's going to be in your life. If you perceive God just to be a Sunday, Wednesday thing, that's how you're going to live your life. And you're going to struggle with Christianity. And you're going to struggle with living for God. Because if it's not an everyday walk, you're going to struggle with it.
Amen.
You're going to have a hard time with it. Because you're going to want to do something on Monday that you know on Sunday you wouldn't have done. And then by the time Wednesday gets here, and you feel a little better about yourself because you came to church and you know, the preacher preached, and every hallelujah we're free, hallelujah. Okay, and we got free, and then by Thursday, if there's something else that you shouldn't do, but you're going to do because. But when you get up in the morning and you make this thing a walk, and you choose. Now I know people say the devil made me do it. No. And y'all remember Flip Wilson did it either, but that's all right. Okay, but no, the devil didn't make you do it. The devil suggested you do it. And your spirit and your flesh said, I want to do it. And then your spirit said, don't do it. But then you told your spirit to shut up and went ahead and did it. Come on, help me. And so the devil didn't really make you do it. What the devil did was suggest it into your spirit and then into your mind. And then you decided that you're going to do it because we get some kind of gratification from drinking or doping or whatever we do. Come on, help me now. Am I in the right church? I'm just tired of never mind. Okay, doesn't matter. Listen, freedom from limitations. No longer bound by poverty. I'm not bound by poverty, but sometimes poverty gets on us, right? Help me. Does poverty ever attack you? Does poverty ever tell you, hey, you're never going? This is the best it's ever going to be? No, it's not. Does poverty ever get on you and tell you, yeah, if you were rich like them, you could have that too? Or does poverty ever talk to you? Come on, somebody. Does poverty ever talk to you and tell you how blessed that you're supposed to be and you're a Christian, and the next thing you know is you see somebody that's cussing every 15 seconds? Cussing every 15 seconds, taking the Lord's name in vain, doing all this stuff, and they drive off in a Bentley. And you're looking like, God, I don't understand that. Poverty ever talk to you? Because we limit what God can do in our lives. Because you don't actually really believe that God is the provider. You actually believe that Mission Tortillas are the provider. I'm talking to myself, so I don't want to get nobody upset. You actually believe that Mission Tortillas keeps you afloat. You ever been afloat and get sick? Come on now. Sometimes that thing that keeps you afloat is keeping you sick. Oh, Jesus. Okay. No longer was I bound by my birth. It doesn't matter, has your lineage ever spoken to you? What do you mean by lineage? Have you ever, well, I'm not of that family, so I can't have what that family has. I'm the least of these in Manasseh, and so I'm not a mighty man of valor. I'm just somebody threshing wheat in the wine press. Somebody. And so we look back at our birth and say, I can't be whatever God's called me to be because I wasn't born with a silver spoon. But can I help you just a minute? I don't care if you came out with a plastic spoon. As long as you got a spoon, God will fill it. As long as you use your spoon for God, God will fill it. I don't care if you got a stick that you carved out the end of it and now you got a wooden spoon. I don't care what it is. If you have it and you can use it for God, God will fill your spoon. I don't care what it's made out of. But we limit God on who God is because poverty will speak to us because most of us in here grew up with nothing. And some of us grew up with less than nothing. Now, I wasn't one of them. I wasn't one of them. I had stuff. We got Christmas and everything, okay? I mean, Santa Claus showed up and everything. Okay, so listen. We had all that. But there's some people that grow up with less than nothing. And poverty begins to speak to them. No longer were we bound by our birth. And sometimes, now in Seminole, Oklahoma, it seems like it's prevalent that we look at that somebody who has some oil money, or somebody that has some natural gas money, or somebody that had whatever money, and we look at them because I know when I grew up in Seminole High School, it was a time when there was oil money everywhere. And I'm 17 and I'm driving a 1978 Chevrolet Monza, and a buddy of mine who had never worked a day in his life got a brand new Mustang SVO, and I'm saying, what in the world?
Yes.
Come on, help me now.
Yeah, you're right.
I've been working since I was 8. And I was 18 and bought my own car for $750. Come on. And so I know what it is I'm talking about. I know what it means to look at somebody that's wearing, now back in the day, it was Levi's 501 shrink to fit. Anybody? It had to give a little long so we could roll up the cuffs, remember? Hey man, come on now. I'll bust it out again. Okay, so listen. And so I know what it was like to pay $30 for a pair of jeans myself. Because that's what I wanted. And when other folks had many, many pairs. So I know what it is to have poverty talk to you. And you feel sorry for yourself. Woo, help me somebody. I'll never have a house like that. I'll never have a car like that. I'll never, ever, ever, ever be blessed like that. The devil is a liar. And listen, it doesn't matter who you are or what you come. Tell poverty to shut its mouth because that's not who I am. I am not in the poverty spectrum. I am in the heavenly kingdom spectrum. God blesses me me because of who He is, not because of who I am, and I can't do it by myself, but I can sure enough do it with Him, and poverty has to shut its mouth. And so I'm free of the poverty situation. Now listen, whenever I grew up, and my parents worked hard, they worked a lot. My mother she worked at night. My dad worked during the day, so there'd be somebody home with us kids. Me and Cindy. And so I didn't see my mother much when I was growing up, when I was little, because she was always at work when I was at home, and she was asleep when I was at school. That's God's honest truth. And so my mother and my dad, they worked a lot. They worked a lot. And so I know what it's like to work, to go get what it is that you think you need. I get that. But I'm no longer bound by that poverty scale that tried to attach itself to my mom and my dad. I'm not bound by that, because you know why? I figured out, according to this, that the devil's a liar. And I don't have to live that way, and I'm not going to live that way, and I'm not going to have my children ever live that way. Now listen, understand this. Understand a second. There's nothing wrong with working hard, but understand this. My son and my daughters, they don't know nothing about going and throwing papers in the middle of a sleet storm, in the daytime, whenever it's raining, sleeting, snowing, and you got to get up and go throw newspapers. They don't know nothing about that. They don't. And it wouldn't have killed them to do it. I'm not saying it would have killed them. But what I'm saying is, I didn't want them to have to do that.
That's right. That's right.
I had to do it, and I didn't want them to have to do it. I remember my mother coming and picking me up. You probably remember this. My paper route when I was 8 to 12 years old was Park Street, Highland Street, University, Jefferson, and then I had Lee Street and Wilson and whatever it is over there by Wilson School. I had 4 paper routes by the time I was 14 years old, because I was trying to make some money. I remember my mother coming and picking me up because it started sleeting. And I was walking, throwing newspapers. And I remember I was so thankful that my mother pulled up. You probably don't remember that. But she pulled up, and I was so thankful because I was frozen half to death. And I was trying to wrap newspapers in these little stupid little plastic bags, and you can throw them in little plastic bags. You can throw them from about here to the altar, and that's about as far as I'll go. And those stupid little plastic bags. And so I remember doing that, and I didn't want my children to have to do that. It wouldn't have killed them. It wouldn't have made them, die. I didn't die. I made it. I survived. But I didn't want them to have to do that. And do you think that Jesus really died on the cross so you could go through the Garden of Gethsemane again? No. He did it for you, that you don't have to go through the Garden of Gethsemane. He died on a cross that you don't have to die on a cross. He did those things for us to keep them from us. Are you with me?
Yes.
I don't have to do that. I'm free from that. And my kids have been free from that curse. Okay. My childhood was great. I don't want you to ever think I had a great childhood. My parents gave me a great childhood. But every day after school, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they delivered my papers at 3 o'clock at my house, and I had to spend the next 2.5 hours every day rolling newspapers and then loading them up and throwing newspapers. Every day. There was no going to somebody's house. There was no working on the float. There was none of that stuff. Because Saturday nights, we got newspapers, I had to throw them Saturday nights, 2.5 hours throwing. Remember, Mom? It didn't kill me. But there's some things I didn't want my kids to miss out on. I wanted them to be high school students. Amen?
Yes.
I wanted them to be elementary students. I wanted them to experience things I didn't get to experience. And I don't want my mother, it was my choice. I'm the one that wanted to buy motorcycles and cars and TVs and stereos. And, I'm the one that wanted to buy that stuff. She didn't make me work. I did it. She didn't say, you're going to go get a job at 9 years old. You're going to go get a paper route. No, she didn't do that. She allowed me to do that because my first paper route was just was just University of Jefferson, just this block here. So it wasn't like, I was just a block from home. So it wasn't like I was halfway across the city or anything. But understand that I was set free from that when I figured out that God paid for something that I couldn't pay for. And He gave me something that I couldn't give myself. And so my children have never known that. Now they would probably think they were dying if I made them do it. But they wouldn't actually be dying. And they're not lazy. Well, they're teenagers, they are lazy, but they're not worthless lazy. They are teenage lazy. Just drives me insane, but still they are teenage lazy. But they're not worthless. And I like them. I don't know if you like them or not, but I like them. So it doesn't matter. So listen, no longer were we bound by social status. When Jesus died on the cross, it broke poverty's back. Because now you can have life and life abundantly. When Jesus died on the cross, it broke who you were by birth. Doesn't matter anymore. You don't have to be in the lineage of Aaron to go to Jesus, to go to God as the high priest. You can do that yourself. You no longer have to be in the lineage of Aaron. So birth, that was broken. Number three, your social status was broken. It didn't matter if you were a tax collector. It didn't matter if you were a prostitute. It didn't matter if you were the person who ran the synagogue. No matter what, you had the same access to God as anybody else had to God. And so now those things are broken and you're free from all those situations in your life when Jesus died on a cross. Yeah. So understand this. He did it for us. Quit trying to do it for yourself. What do you mean, Brother Jeff? This is what I mean. Go to Jesus with what's going on in your life and turn it over to Him and say, Jesus, I need help. I've done that, Brother Jeff. Okay, great. Now really do it. Go to Him and say, I need help and I'm not leaving here until you help me. Okay, so let's talk about Jacob wrestling. You want to? How old do you think, when you think of that story, how old do you think Jacob was when he was wrestling? Just somebody throw. 80? Close?
70.
70? 96 years old. No wonder he broke his hip. Or knocked it out. You're close. 96 years old. Wow. And he's wrestling all night long. This is really good. And then when they begin to break, the person he's wrestling says, let go of me, because day's gone. He said, I'm not letting you go until you what? Bless me. And the person that he's wrestling, most scholars and most biblical scholars believe it was a form of Jesus in some form. I'm not smart enough to know that. I'm just reading what they write. But as he's fixing to leave, he said, I'm not letting you go until you bless me. Bless me. And then the person says, what's your name? Well, this is a fine time to introduce ourselves. We've been fighting all night long. Oh, by the way, what's your name? Are you with me? Brother Dean, I know you know this. When Jacob was blessed the first time, he was blessed as who? Esau. Because he covered himself with hair. And when he was blessed by his father blessed him as Esau, because that's who he said he was. Now I got a whole big thing about this, but I'm just going to give you a little. Okay. And so it was not until, understand this, he lived 23 years before he was wrestling with the angel of the Lord, or Jesus, whoever. 23 years he lived his life as being blessed as Esau. And then, it's not that Jesus didn't know, or whoever this was, didn't know who he was. He wanted to know if he knew who he was.
Amen.
Oh, you better help me just a minute. You better help me just a minute. Because when he said, I want to be blessed, he said, you can read it, He said, what is your name? and he said, my name is Jacob. So the first time in his life, at 96 years old, the first time he'd ever been blessed as Jacob and not Esau.
Amen.
You better have me just a minute. So he was free, and I know some of y'all said that'll make a lick of sense. It will later. Okay, listen. It is freeing to be blessed as who you are, but do you know who you are?
Amen.
Help me a minute. Do you know who you are? He had lived his entire life. Remember, check this out. I don't want to give all this to you, but I want to give some of it to you. Do you remember when he gave, when he blessed him as Esau? Do you remember what happened? What did Jacob have to do? He fled. So what good did it do for him to be blessed if he had to leave what he was being blessed for? He didn't get any of it. He just got the blessing, but he didn't get any of the stuff he wanted. He had to flee from what he had to flee from what he had deceived his brother and his father. He had to leave all of it, and he fled, and his brother tried to kill him. His brother was mad. He was chasing him down. And so for 23 years, he lived a life as a vagabond. And then finally, he realized, I'm Jacob. I'm a heel grabber. And I'm a deceiver. That's who I am. But bless me anyway. Come on, help me somebody. Come on, help me. Come on, help me just a minute. I'm a heel grabber and I'm a deceiver. But I'm not going to leave here until you bless me. And isn't it amazing? Isn't this cool? Now y'all better get with me. Isn't this cool? Now listen. The angel of the Lord said, your name is no longer Jacob, but it's Israel. He changed who he was. Oh, come on, I don't want to get off. I don't want to get off on this, but it's too late. He had tried to change his own name. He had tried to deceive who he really was, his own self. But it took God to change who he was. Come on, help me just a minute. It took God to change him. Amen. You're no longer Jacob, you're Israel because I said you're Israel, not because you said you're Israel. So church, let me just share this with you. You're not bound anymore, not because you say you're not bound, but you're not bound anymore because he says you're not bound. I'm free today because of who he is, not because of who I am. Listen, free to be used by God who created the entire universe. I can be used by God. Amen. I can be, listen, I don't have to have a microphone, and I don't have to have an audience, and I don't have to have a whatever. I just have to have a willing heart to be used of God. And I can, listen, I can honestly stand here with my hand in the air. I am not a stage desire person. I'm not. Don't care. Don't care. Because it's not the stage that God uses. It's the person that God uses. Amen. I don't need a stage. I don't need a spotlight. I don't need any of that stuff. And I'm going to work just as hard as I work now. It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to set up chairs. I set up chairs today. Me and Sister Phyllis set up chairs today, didn't we? And tables. I'm going to make Kool-Aid, and I'm going to go get sandwich stuff, and I'm going to make sure that there's ice in the waters, and I'm going to go make sure that there's drinks and there's cups. And I don't care if I'm pastor. I don't care if I hate you. I don't care who. I'm going to find some way to serve. That's right. Anyway, regardless. Oh, that's easy for you to say. No, this is truthful. Because before I was ever there, I was back there setting up chairs. 25 years ago, 20 years ago. But man, it's been 20 years. Boy, 1999 is almost 20 years ago. You realize that? 1998, Billy Hawks, the youth pastor, and I called him and said, "What do you need me to do?" Because he was living, because he was living in, and he was working in Oklahoma City, and he'd get here right at service time. Right at service time. Billy, what do you need me to do? Oh, I'll get it. I said, no, what do you need me to do? And I'd make sure everything was in order for him. When he walked in, he didn't have to move one chair. He didn't have to do anything because it was done. And I wasn't anything in a title. We get so worried about stupid titles. Well, I'm a such and such. Good for you. But are you a servant? We get so bogged down with titles about who's what, who, and then we find ourselves bound by that title. I'm free to be used by God for His glory. In Him I move and I have my being. Acts chapter 17, verse 28. I'm trying to hurry. I know I'm running out of time. I'm trying to. Acts 17, 28. Acts 17, 28. Let's get there in a second. For in Him we live and move and have our being. As certain also of your own poets have said, for we are also His offspring. I can't be bound because in Him I live.
Come on.
In Him I move. In Him I have my being. As certain also of your own poets have said, for we are His offspring. I can't hardly wait to preach Sunday. Pentecost Sunday, I'm about to lose my mind over. Pentecost Sunday, everything changes. Everything changes at Pentecost. The crucifixion of Jesus was not to destroy their lives. I know that sometimes it seems like that God does things just to mess your life up, or God doesn't prevent things. It should mess up your life. Your life's messed up. And, well, God, if you really loved me, why did you let this man do this to me? God, if you really loved me, why did you let this lady leave me? God, if you really loved me, why did this happen to me? And so it's just like when Jesus died and people were saying, if you're really the Son of God, why are you dying on a cross? The crucifixion of Jesus was not to destroy their life. The crucifixion was to set them free, and they didn't even know it. Guys, there's some people that have gone through your life that you needed to let go through your life.
Amen.
Because they were killing you. And they were killing your spirit. They were killing everything about you. They were killing your soul. They were killing everything. Listen, now think about this. If those people were still in your life, would you be in church on a Wednesday night? Or would you be trying to please them and be wherever they were at because you were making them an idol? Are you really sure that the stuff that we thought was killing us, then we said, God, I don't understand. God is killing me. God, I don't know why. It's because He had to do those things for us to be set free of some things. Freedom can only be had when we battle against tyranny. Tyranny. Hear me, and I'm wrapping up. The devil is a tyrant. The devil's a tyrant. He comes into your life. He comes into your life, destroys it, takes what's good in your life, and leaves you with nothing. What's going on there? You check it. He takes what's good in your life and leaves you with nothing. And you're broken, and you're bruised, and your life's destroyed, and you have all these things going on, and still yet people live in that mess. Jesus is not a tyrant. Jesus is a loving Father. But sometimes it feels like He's a tyrant because He won't let you do what you want to do. Remember those days? Everything cool? Remember those days when your parents were the meanest people on the face of the earth? Because they wouldn't let you do everything you wanted to do? Do you remember?
Yes.
many ever heard this? You're not going. Why? Because I said so.
Amen.
Sometimes you have to go through some things when you feel like that God is just being mean to you. But God's not being mean to you. He's protecting you. Listen, Lisa had a brother named Lucky. He had a car wreck with a man named Dennis on the street. Used to be on the street. How many remember Dennis? How many messed up on? Okay. You know why his arms messed up? They were in a car wreck with her brother and another guy. And they went off the bridge behind Willis's on whatever, 240, 270 and Harvey Road. You know that big old deep bridge that's right behind there? You guys have ever been running around? Okay. They drove off of that, and they almost died. Almost lost their lives. They were never the same. Never. None of them. My brothers wanted to go that night. And that lady in the blue dress with white hair said, no, you're not going.
Come on.
Why can't we go? I can't ever do nothing. And I'm not saying she had a revelation from God. I'm not saying I don't know what was going on. But all I know is that she said no. And those three young men's lives were changed forever. And my brother's lives were spared from that. Not because they were more holy, not because of it. I'm just using it as an example. That's how God will allow you sometimes to not go to something so you don't have to go through something.
Amen.
They all went to church together. They were all church kids. For whatever reason, my mom said no. So their lives were spared and not changed like her brother's life was changed. Her brother later got killed in another car wreck. A train hit him. I don't know why. That's just really a weird deal. It's just really strange. Dennis, I love Dennis. But Dennis has never been the same. You'll notice that the scar, he almost cut his head off. There's a scar all the way down his neck, and his arms messed up, and I believe it's his right side that's messed up, and he can't hardly use his arms and his limbs. My mother could have said yes, and she could have lost both of her sons that night. Who knows? Who knows? One of the brothers that didn't go died of cancer in 2011, but he had 30 more years of life that God saw fit because he said no. My mom said no. He spared her from going off that bridge. You with me? And freedom comes when no matter what God says, we obey it. Because Jesus said, if this cup pass from me, God, let it pass from me. But nevertheless, not what I will, but you will. So freedom doesn't come because God just gives us everything.
That's right.
Come on.
Come on.
I'm telling you right now, you think you can handle more than God knows what you can handle.
That's right.
How many of you have ever heard the scripture and you've used the scripture? God will put more on you than you can bear. And that's really not really the right quote, but that's how people say it. How many of you ever heard that or said that? God will put more on you than you can stand. Okay. It goes in the reverse as well. God won't give you more than you can handle either.
That's right.
Some of you get the house, the car, the job, the wife, the husband, and forget all about God. And some of us, sitting here, would never forget about God. I don't care. Listen, we would be the same person if we had $1 million in the bank or $10 in the bank. We're just who we are. It don't matter. It doesn't matter. We just do what we do. We serve. And God is. But some folks can't handle it. And it crushes. You've seen all the stories about what was it? The TV shows about how the lottery ruined my life or whatever it is, and how people got all this money, and then 6 months later they're all divorced and they've lost everything because they're not capable of handling it. You've seen those stories. So freedom doesn't mean you get everything you want. Freedom means you have the opportunity to get everything you want.
I tried.
You with me?
Yes. Amen.
I live in the United States of America. And I pledge allegiance for which it stands. One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I get it. I love it. But I have the ability to go achieve my dreams. I have the ability. Now, I can't say that for every country, because I have never lived in any other country. But I can say in this country, I have the ability to reach out and get what it is that God asks me to get. And I have the ability to be free to do it. It's the same thing with your walk with Jesus. When you say yes to Jesus, you may not get everything you want, but you have the opportunity and the ability to get everything you want. But it depends on you. I can choose not to go to work. I can choose not to do those things that I need to do to support my family. And then talk about how awful and rotten the country this is. Or I can go do what I know to do. And see opportunity after opportunity, open door after open door after open door. And see what God does. Are you with me? You understand what I'm saying? Freedom is not free. All freedom does is give you the opportunity to achieve what God has in your life to achieve. This church has great opportunity right now to achieve greatness. We do. But are we going to go through those doors, or are we going to stay like we are? Just ask it. Just ask it. Stay with me.